Welcome to Channel AMEC, your insight to the Australian visa system. Good day everyone, my name is Carl Young, your online YouTube visa consultant. Are you interested about migrate to Australia? Why don't you consider subscribe to our channel and turn on a little bell on the side, so once we have all the updates and news, you'll be the first one getting all the insights. Alright, I've received a news article which was published about 2 or 3 days ago in regards to a recommendation to actually scrap a business visa. It's very interesting. A post-pandemic era where the economy is generally everywhere around the world is not as good as previous. So how would a recommendation to scrap a business visa? Now, business visa generally regards to as the investment visa out there. How would that work? Let's go in there and have a look. Okay, so this news came from published by SBS, and it was when I think 2 or 3 days ago. But its reason there is institutions they came with a study with a title to scrap this visa, scale down global talent visa. Why would they do that? Okay, let's see. Now, bear in mind, this is not a official publication from immigration itself. It's an independent third-party recommendations, which might not be factual, but I will provide my view at the end of this video of how this seems. Okay, so what does it say? A new Grattan Institute report, well, which is a third-party institution, they conduct a study and has urged the Australian government to give priority to young, higher skill migrants with a strong English language proficiency when granting permanent residency once borders reopen. It also suggests the abolition of business investment and innovation program. Now that's big. I mean, which country doesn't have a business or investment program? So what they are trying to say is they're trying to recommend Australia to take an initiative which never in the past of human history that a country will reject a view of investment visa, which is really awkward, and a scale down of global talent visa program. So what is it saying here? So in the later report, Rethink Permanent Migration After Pandemic, Grattan Institute researchers have suggested a sweet reform of the Australian migration program. Some suggest to include target young skilled workers with a higher English language proficiency and prevent migrants from moving to regional Australia. Now, how would that work? How would a talented, skilled young migrants with a high English proficiency preventing migrants from moving to regional Australia? Now, this again is not a view from immigration, but I reject this kind of view because as a nation, Australia has grown to a capacity where the major cities is populated enough. They should encourage migrants to go regional to develop the whole nation, just like how USA has done, how Canada has done. So they are preventing migrants going into regional. Then the regional will have less and less scarcities and skill. So I'm not too sure why they're saying that. So prioritize permanent residency for highly skilled migrants and scrap business investment innovation program and scale down global talent visa. Now, not too sure. Let's read on with the detail there. So they reckon the BIIP, first of all, the BIIP, the investment program does not bring enough incentive and benefit into Australia. Look, I probably will not agree to this. Why now? I mean, any country would love investments. The investors, although they don't come as in quantity, but they come in quality. Okay, now quality can then have direct and indirect effects, one on the other. So it's a different. But however, obviously, skilled young migrants can contribute. I have no rejection on that one. But scrapping the whole business innovation program, I think this is a bit insane. I mean, nevertheless, any country had ever done that. So in 2012, target business people with a range of business skills who want to establish, develop, manage a new existing business in Australia. Researchers on Grattan Institute also suggest that Australian government to scale back global talent. Now, bear in mind, government of Australia has already scaled back. So this is not quite as accurate as what it report seems to be. It was back in 2018-19 only 1,000 visas. Now the reason is because it only started back in late 2019, and that was the first time that government introduced. That's why the number is very less. Now in 2020 and 21, it had jacked up to 11,000. Now the reason it was there because they also accept PhD and Master by Research graduates. Now that's going to be a lot of people, and onshore of course, and that's why the number is up there. Now I recall a couple of months ago the global talent team had already scaled that down. I think scaled down to about 6,000 or 7,000, and would not invite or accept PhD and Master by Research graduate anymore. So that's already scaled down, and these number of couple of thousand, 3,000 to 4,000, has reallocated back to skill migration. So I'm not too sure whether this is really updated. Now the Monash Business School Associate Professor Vinod Mishra said that the report looks the Australian immigration critically, which is an all-time low because of COVID. Yes, and I have no rejection on that. Now, obviously, and plus the fortress Australia just don't accept any arrival of travelers anymore. So, of course, it's been all-time low, and that is why the budget report and also what the Treasurer and the Prime Minister had announced on the migration overhaul plan ahead to have a much bigger quota in the coming 5 years continuously. Here it says, I broadly agree the final report economic point of view of younger migrants and better English to get priority and contribute to more economy and rely less on social safety scheme government. And this is what Mr. Mishra said. And there has been criticism about BIIP in the past as well. It is argued that the people under BIIP program are usually middle-aged and average English. It would be better to have that quota allocated to more youngsters. The report advocates prioritizing permanent skilled migrants with younger skilled workers. Now, look, I agree to all this, but you see, skill migration does not just point out to engineers, PhDs, all these professionals. What about the trades skills? I mean, how about chefs? How about carpenters? How about all these hospitality workers, childcare service people? They are not generally categorized above skill level 2. Should their English be at proficient level? Well, some can, but not most of them. So again, it needs to match. Of course, we want people to actually speak fluently, but again, the English test does not just test your speaking level. There is also inclusion of writing skills. Now, thinking about these tradespeople, can they write fluently? This is debatable. Anyway, and these people also contribute to the society as well, especially in the regional area, because a lack of resources over there, everybody jump into the city now. Bear in mind, this article says, preventing people going to regional. I don't agree on that one. I think we need to advertise more people to go to regional as a way to build a nation, and that's the reason we need it. We can't just continually grow in the cities. Thus, the younger, more skilled migrants, the more is gain public purse. Yeah, I agree on that one. Researchers mentioned in the report that number of skilled work visa allocated via employer sponsorship, and the point is should be expanded. Now, I agree on that, but you got to bear in mind the current government in the past, since 2018 until 2020, had rejected and refused thousands and thousands of employer sponsored visa, and the current employer sponsored visa is somehow the most complicated in the history of Australian immigration system. So if they want to expand that, that will be another hard part. Okay. Now, permanent skilled workers should no longer be targeting skill shortage. Instead of permanent skilled workers, visa should be targeting younger, higher skilled migrants. Well, I agree on that one, but if it's not targeted on shortage, how about the locals? How about the local workers, the domestic workers? Again, if you target expanding employer sponsor, would that affect the job ratio of the local Australian workers? And if you're not targeting the shortage, well, what about the youngsters graduate Australian IT professional that graduated from all the university? And if that's not in shortage and you still get all these younger and skilled migrants in, how about the local Australians? So again, I'm not really agree to all this article. A researcher have made 6 key recommendations. So abolish the BIIP program, scale down global talent visa, avoid targeting permanent skilled worker visa temporary shortage, make employment sponsor more available, provide they earn at least 80,000 a year. Well, what about the locals? Okay, now, and also you got to ask, if an employer in Australia required to have sponsor someone to work, bear in mind, I mean, what sort of visa do you expect a chef coming in straight away to have a 80,000 a year salary package? Well, it's debatable. Now, Commission of Independent Review point, test the visa, select younger and skilled migrant, improve administration and permanent skill work visa, accelerate processing time. Grattan Institute researchers mentioned that the report abolished BIIP could generate at least additional 3.7 billion personal income tax. Ooh, okay, right. Using the 80,000 wages, and then you can raise additional 9.1 billion lifetime tax revenue. Now that's great, but sometimes recommendations can be quite fancy. I mean, the number should be right, but in the actual scenario, would that actually work? Why don't you leave your comment right down below and let's chat in our channel. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Goodbye.